Scorpio, and welcome to your weekly tarot reading. This will take you from the 15th to the 22nd, and excuse my voice, I've still got a very sore throat. So give me a minute here. Your additional guidance card is the Peace card. Okay, so that's that. There's nothing much better than that when we have that peace within us, that that place within us that just feels okay with the world and your place in it. But I have to say, there's a strange combination of cards, because at the bottom of the deck you do have the Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords can be a feeling of being restricted, that things aren't happening fast enough. In this image, the swords are wider than she is. So quite a lot of readers believe the Eight of Swords is it's an illusionary trap, that she's not really trapped, that she can get out of these circumstances. Now, with this card, I don't make that assumption, but I try and get the viewer to question it. Are you quite as trapped as you think you are? Or is there any bids to freedom that you can take to release yourself from this situation you're in? I've got no idea what it is. It might be quite a practical situation. Some of you might be in a job or in a life situation that's not fulfilling you at a soul level, because you do have the Eight of Cups, which is very often, he's dressed in purple and gold, and quite often I see this card as a spiritual search. Is that search for something deeper and something more. So really, really interesting here. There's a sense of peace, but also woven through your week is this sense of being quite locked, quite blocked in certain circumstances, and then you end that week with that search, that, where do I belong? How do I find deeper meaning? It's basically the quest card. It's not always that, but it's coming across really strongly as a quest card at the moment. That some of you aren't finding satisfaction in the life position that you're in. But you do have the Ace of Swords as your crowning card. So the aces are all gifts. They generally show in the image a gift being given from above, whatever you call that energy, okay? So you've got this gift of clarity, this gift of sight, which is quite interesting, because sometimes with the Ace of Swords, we don't always like what we see. And I wonder if that's why you've got the Ace with the 8. You've got this gift of sight, and you can see within yourself and to your life circumstances, the places where you still feel restricted. But don't forget, peace is the additional guidance card. So as we learn our lessons in life, they're not here to punish us, remember. They're here to help us evolve into the next level of evolution, which is very interesting, because I just realised you're starting with the Six of Swords. That typical transition card, and I absolutely adore this card, and it comes with the Judgment. So the Judgment is this huge rebirth card. It's sometimes I call it the karmic cleanse, but all I mean with that is a decision to release the past to the highest degree that you can, okay? Because we all carry the past in the cellular level. It's not something that we just do once, but the Judgment card with the Six of Swords is absolutely beautiful and very, very profound transition cards here. In the Judgment card, don't forget, there's figures rising from the dead, and they're giving thanks because they're receiving maybe a new beginning, a new opportunity, new potentials rising up. And with this comes the Six of Swords, this feeling of leaving something behind and moving on to something else. And what you're moving on to, she's looking at the Magician with the Six of Wands. Six of Wands, most of you know, it's another six. It's about restoring balance. It's a success card. Success, victory, personal achievement. And it's with the Magician card. So for some of you, the Magician card just represents manifesting stuff. So be careful what you wish for when the Magician shows up, because you are tuning with a higher power. If you look, the Magician brings this energy in through his crown chakra, through his body and out through his hands. Okay? And he sets forth into the world to transform all the different planes of existence. Really, really powerful cards here, and definitely about restoring harmony to something that's been out of balance. I'm not saying this is going to be easy, because as I said, when we get the Ace of Swords as a gift, we quite often see those places within us that needs work, that needs to be released. But these cards are huge releasing cards. Sometimes when that Six of Swords appears, there's a feeling for me that one chapter of your life is over and you're transiting to a different place. And it's powerful, it's successful, absolutely beautiful, because you then go on to the Sun card, which is paired with the Eight of Discs. So the Eight of Discs is the work card, and it's right next to the Seven. So this is about work, okay? Some of you might be waiting on news around work. You might be waiting on... The Seven of Discs is someone who's waiting for it to become the 10, okay? Basically, quite often you're waiting on news, you're waiting to hear things. I'm not sure what it is, but there's definitely a sense of waiting with that Seven of Discs. It's like being pregnant, and there's nothing you can do when it appears apart from be patient, persevere. The Eight of Discs is about working hard, quite often through the night. It's definitely a craftsman's card. It's about learning new skills or just working hard. But it comes with the Sun card, which is that real joyful, exuberant energy. Again, the Sun can be a bit like the Ace, because you know, when the Sun comes out, we can sometimes see how we're restricting ourselves, what circumstances, where we feel trapped, where we don't feel in our full potential. So there's definitely a theme of that. And then the Eight of Cups I've explained. The Eight of Cups is constantly being that search for something more. Now, I don't really like that terminology actually, but if you look at the image, these cups have spilled, and it's one of these things, you know, when something's giving you satisfaction, but it's just no longer satisfying you. That's what it means. It's not a card about tragedy or a card of anything. It's just realising you're not getting as much satisfaction in certain life circumstances, and you need to go and find those cups, the Holy Grail, whatever it is that you describe that search for. Definitely an intriguing week. Absolutely powerful transformations as you start the week. That sense of being born again, of being in transition, moving forward. The clarity of the Ace might be making you aware of where you're constricted and where you need growth. Okay, always a bit of a challenging awareness, Scorpio, to tell you the truth, for everyone, because sometimes you feel that, oh, I can't get out of this constriction. Just begin to question it. Can you? Is there another option? Because the Sun card might mean there's new options around work. I'm not saying it's all going to happen by the end of the week, because the Seven of Discs is saying it definitely won't. But with the Eight of Cups, the same is real. That search for a more satisfying life is really powerful, and it's how you're ending the week. Additional guidance card, peace. Tune into it at all times, because it means you're not in a state of disharmony. There might be a bit of frustration, but there's not disharmony. Okay, Scorpio, I'll speak to you later. Bye.